I would have beat every heavyweight that ever lived before me.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports with Betz. I'm your host, Kaleb BETZ. Once again, first ever three-time recurring guest, Zach Fisher joins me today. Zach, how you doing, baby?
What's up with you? I'm doing well,
What's
buddy.
going
I'm
on?
doing real well.
Good deal, dude. Super Bowl week, man. I can't believe it's already here.
It's crazy. Yeah, we're hosting a party, and I have not done any preparation for that. I was like, oh shoot, I need to get on that.
Classic. Wait till the 11th hour, man. That's what you're supposed to do. Well, we got a lot of stuff to jump into. Before we get into that, I just wanted to take a quick second and thank you guys for sharing the show and for tuning in every single week. I mean, this is a lot of fun. It's really exciting. Like, our numbers are trending up, since we started here. So I just wanted to ask you guys if, once again, if you take anything from the show, if we make you laugh, if you learn something, if anything, if you get any value, if you give it, if we give you any reason to come back, please share the show. Share this with the biggest football fan you know. We've got NFL offseason coming up here soon too. So the more engagement we have, the more ideas we come across, the more suggestions we get. It's just, that ultimately makes the podcast better. So thank you guys for doing what you've been doing. Keep on doing it and do it more. So thank you for sharing the show. All right, man. We're here though. What we were talking about, Super Bowl week. We've made it. Just crazy, man. Like we're about to enter, what did you call it? The abyss, or the dark
abyss.
days of sports.
Yeah,
the sports abyss. I'm feeling grateful, man. We had a really, really awesome NFL season. I feel like there was nobody in the beginning of the season who confidently would have said, yeah, we're going to have a Patriots and Seahawks Super Bowl, totally unpredictable season. No Bills in the, AFC Championship, no Chiefs in the playoffs, no Ravens in the playoffs. I've been reflecting a little bit as we enter the last game of the season. I'm thankful for a really, really good football season. How do you feel?
It's been refreshing. Yeah, absolutely.
Totally
like
refreshing.
You said, no Chiefs, no Eagles.
Yep.
Yeah, nobody would have guessed we'd have the Patriots and the Seahawks. But here we are, and it's fun. I'm good.
Totally.
I'm excited.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a good one. I did go and place some bets for the Super Bowl yesterday. Ran down to Old Warhorse Casino to their sports book and placed a couple of bets. So I think we can just get right into it. So I placed 3 bets, and I'm going to save the third until the end because that's my Super Bowl pick, and I want to give a quick little preview and a prediction before I spoil it. The two prop bets, novelty bets that I picked were, one, anytime offensive lineman touchdown, any offensive lineman. That was like plus 1,900. So I put $5 on it to win $100. I'm like, that's great, dude. You've got 2 young coaches with new style offenses, and Vrabel's got some tricks up his bag. I'm sure McDonald and those, and Kubiak have some of their tricks up their sleeve as well. Yeah. So I think an offensive lineman, anytime touchdown, fun. That's money, right? Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you're going to cash that bet, but it's fun.
No, but so here's what I was thinking. What kind of bets could I place that are going to enhance my viewing experience? Like, it's $5. I'm not going to be bummed if I lose. And even if it doesn't hit, probably won't hit. I'm not going to be bummed about it. But anytime an offensive lineman declares as eligible, I'm going to be freaking out, So that was the first one. And the second one, this is definitely some recency bias, but I placed another $5 bet on Rashid Shaheed to score the first touchdown of the game. I think Rashid
Shaheed, he's going to return the kick?
Dude, I'm banking on it a little bit. I thought that like if he did that in back-to-back games, like that would be insanity. But I thought, yeah, if the Seahawks start with the ball, Mike Vrabel's going to game play Cooper Kupp and JSN, who's available, but Rashid Shaheed, So and that was the same thing. $5 to win 100, and then I've got my Super Bowl pick, which we'll get to here in a second. So, yeah, those are my bets. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to.
That's fun. Now you got something. I'll cheer along with you for that. That'd be fun. Hopefully, I'm gonna laugh like
heck yeah, man.
It's a ball to Rashid in the end zone, and he just drops it for that. It's first score. It's
I've
not
thought that
anytime,
too.
right? It's first score.
It's first score.
Okay. Yeah.
First touchdown. So I've thought that too with like an offensive lineman. Like with my luck, what's going to happen is we're going to get a big boy touchdown, and he's going to be like, it's going to be like a legal formation or a legal man downfield, didn't declare as eligible or something like that's going to happen. I can feel it. So, but yeah, man, no, this is such a tough game to predict, because these are two teams that frankly I have waited for them to come back to reality all season long. And it's like, here we are, we're in the Super Bowl. Like you and I talked about it a couple weeks ago that, been really anticipating Sam Darnold turning back into a pumpkin and having a classic Sam Darnold game. Didn't do it. He got better every single week. And, the NFC Championship might've been his best game ever. And then, yeah, same with the Patriots. We keep looking at their schedule and their junk, and they play terrible quarterbacks in the playoffs, but they play who's in front of them and they keep winning games. So it's such a tough game to predict, but how do you see this? How do you see this going on Sunday?
So if you would have asked me last Thursday, which you did, I said Seattle, but I've had some time to reflect. I've talked to, I got a good buddy. He's from Lowell, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. And he kind of convinced me this might be another Patriots year.
Totally unbiased, by the way.
Totally unbiased. But then I also saw this hype video for Mike Vrabel and just like how much he loves the players and how much the players love him. And I was like, oh my God, that just wrenched my heart. So I think I might be picking the Patriots.
You flipped completely.
I might flip.
Dude, you went from Seahawks to blowout.
Yeah, I did. But I think, I don't know, I just feel like, yeah, part of me feels like I think Drake May is going to outplay Sam Darnold. And part of me feels like Sam Darnold still has something to prove to me.
Yeah.
And then granted, I thought it was going to be last week against the Rams, which was the defense he saw last year in the playoffs and totally choked. And part of me was like, oh, that's going to repeat itself again. And it didn't. Sam played absolutely phenomenal. Good for him. But this Patriots defense might be a little different. Vrabel might have some tricks up his sleeve. And you want to talk about that offensive lineman scoring. I think Vrabes has a couple, or at least I think Vrabes scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
He has, yep.
Yeah. He caught a pass as a defensive whatever linebacker playing on offense.
Linebacker.
So let's go, dude. Let's go, Vrabes. Let's go, Pats. Let's go, Drake May.
Dang.
Let's go, baby.
Well, he drew up in the playoffs. Oh no, it wasn't in the playoffs. I think it was a regular season with the Titans. If you remember, Derrick Henry had a touchdown pass to Jeffrey Simmons. Fun fact, actually, Cam Ward threw a touchdown pass to Jeffrey Simmons this year too. But I agree with you. I think Vrabes is gonna get freaky with it in the Super Bowl. I think so. And so this is where I'm torn, because based off of everything you just said, I agree with everything you said. And I don't know if I can handle that yet. I just still don't think I'm in a place where I can accept that Mike Vrabel's got a real shot at being an NFL champion this year. And the Patriots, they feel like the team of destiny. That's the vibes they have right now. They feel like the team of destiny. Their defense has been underrated. Like we talked about the Broncos defense so much. We talked about the Texans defense so much. Now we're talking about the Seahawks defense. It's like, dude, he just keeps winning them freaking games. That being said, I don't know, man. I think on all three phases of the ball, I think Seattle is the better team. I said this last week that I think that I agree with you. I would predict that Drake May is probably going to outperform Sam Darnold. I think that the Patriots offense, when cooking, I think has opportunities to shine. The Seahawks, though, they have a more talented roster, I feel like, just across the board. Like, if you think about the Patriots' weapons, like, they've got Drake May, who's playing awesome. Stephon Diggs is their wide receiver one. Is he their wide receiver one in New England, you think? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Diggs is one. Hunter Henry. You got Kayshon Boutte.
Kayshon Boutte. Yeah. Who else is he throwing to out there?
There's another guy. I'm slipping on the name right now.
See? This is my point. There is another guy.
It doesn't matter what their name is.
And then obviously Travion Henderson figured out his fumble issues, at some point in the season, and he's looked pretty solid. But dude, you look at this Seahawks offense with Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker, dude. We didn't talk enough about that in last week's episode. Kenneth Walker as the true running back one, not doing the running back by committee. He looked way better. Like he looked like he had a chip on his shoulder and he was running with more purpose now that he didn't have Charbonnet to back him up. So Kenneth Walker's looking really good. Then you've got Cooper Kupp. Let's not forget, is he Super Bowl MVP? Didn't Cooper Kupp win a Super Bowl MVP? Okay, that's kind of relevant.
Touchdown in that game.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like they've got dudes on this team. So and then their third option is Rashid Shaheed, which he was awesome in Carolina, and he's been phenomenal on special teams for them. Like New Orleans. Yeah, he was. Yep. Was he in Carolina before, or was he never in Carolina? No, I'm getting mixed up.
New Orleans. Yep.
Yeah, New Orleans. Thank you for the correction. In any event, usually those late season like trade deadline trades don't typically do anything, but I mean, like that's just another piece that Seattle put into play. So the emotion is drawing me towards the Patriots. They feel like team of destiny. They've got these crazy vibes. People keep doubting them. They're kind of the underdog. They're 4.5-point underdogs in the Super Bowl, which is a lot of points. But I just got to go with the logical side of my brain, and I got to pick Seattle. And I actually, kind of based off of this is funny, based off your advice last week, I picked Seattle to win by more than 9.5 points, by 10 or more. So,
oh my God,
I feel
get on that?
Good about that. What were my odds? See, this is the thing is I tinkered around with this machine and picked up a bunch of different plugged in a bunch of different options. I didn't really like the odds. But the line was plus 185. So I put a $10 bet to win like $29 or something like that. Right. Not crazy big money, just sprinkling some stuff in, spend $20 to make the game feel a little more exciting. If any of those hit, I'm going to freak out and I'm going to talk about it forever. So, but either way, I like Seattle in this game. I could see Seattle having a defensive or a special teams touchdown. I almost placed a bet on Seattle defensive touchdown anytime. I thought that would be a pretty decent bet. Drake May fumbled the ball a lot in the postseason too. He fumbled the ball a lot this whole year. Did he lead the NFL in fumbles? As a matter of fact, I think he might have.
I don't know.
In any event,
I know for a fact Sam Darnold led the league in turnovers
this year.
No
kidding. I didn't.
Yeah. See, I know for a fact he did.
We're getting analytical here. This is crazy. So that I didn't know that. The Patriots defense, they could have a defensive touchdown as well too. But I like Seattle to win this game. I think they do have the better defense. They have the better upside. They have the more talented offensive potential, and then they've had explosive plays on special teams. They just don't. If Sam Darnold plays like Sam Darnold has in the playoffs, which I'm not saying he will, that's a big if. I don't see how the Seahawks lose this game.
That's we'll see. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. One way to find out.
I just threw the Patriots out there to take the opposite side of you.
I respect that, and I get it, dude. I get why people would believe in them. It's kind of crazy. So, So we'll see, dude. I'm pumped for this Super Bowl. I really, again, I'm not going to be surprised either way. But speaking of Patriots, there's full on collusion going on right now in the Hall of Fame. We talked about the joke of an organization, the Hall of Fame. You see our boy Bob Kraft snubbed, not a first ballot.
Not my boy.
The NFL's boy, it's crazy too that they talked about the reason why he got snubbed was because he got lumped in with the Belichick, the Spygate and Deflategate stuff. Did it have anything to do with him jumping on a private jet and going down to Jupiter, Florida, and getting a foot massage? I don't know. Maybe that had something to do with it. But I thought that was really interesting. It makes me think. Do you think they're going to snub Brady of a first ballot?
Oh, I didn't think about that yet. I hadn't processed it that far. But that would be, I might give up on the NFL Hall of Fame altogether if Brady gets snubbed for first ballot.
Dude.
Again, you can't. The whole premise of it is like, can you tell the story of football without including this person?
Right.
And Belichick, Brady, I guess I don't know how it does for like owners and things like that. But like, isn't Jerry Jones already in the Hall of Fame?
That's what I was gonna say. If Jerry Jones
is in,
anything,
Bob Kraft should be in tenfold.
Totally, 100% agree. That was curious because like, here's the thing. I was watching. I got reminded of this last night. I was watching. They did like a NFL Network did a little. Not like a documentary, but like they did like one of those NFL films where they covered the Patriots 2014 Super Bowl run. It was on NFL Network late last night. I was watching it.
Okay.
And dude, I remember they went through the Patriots beat the Ravens, and then I think they beat the Bills in the AFC Championship. I want to say no, it was the Colts, which is so weird to think about with Andrew Luck in 2014. I forgot they made it to the AFC Championship even. And then, then that was the Malcolm Butler Super Bowl. And I remember watching these games, and I remember distinctly rooting for the Patriots in the moment in 2014 at the time. Like I've always been like a LeBron James fan. I was always a Tom Brady fan. I love competitors, and I love greatness. I always root for greatness. But so this seems outrageous to me that Belichick and Robert Kraft wouldn't even be considered first ballot of Hall of Famers, or that it's even a conversation. But I forget, the NFL and the average fan during that time hated those guys, like totally hated those guys.
Yeah, well,
like,
because they won.
Yeah,
they hate them. They hate them because they ain't them.
Yeah, that is true. And like, you kind of have people share that sentiment now with like the Chiefs. Like, I'm definitely kind of in that category where like, I'm just sick of the Chiefs. The thing about the Chiefs that drove me nuts, and I was also watching another NFL replay the other day of I think it was a Chiefs. Yeah, what was this game? It was Chiefs. Oh, this is why I was watching. It was Chiefs and Jets in the regular season when Robert Saleh was the head coach of the Jets and Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback. And dude, there was these like 2 or 3 play calls late in the game. Like, one of them was defensive holding. And I mean, the ref threw the flag. It had to have been 3 seconds after the play was dead, and he called holding. Like, it was egregious. So like, I've always hated the Chiefs because the refs give them the most favorable calls of any team ever. Whereas the Patriots, they kind of gave you a reason to hate them more because they not only were they winning, but they were also coloring outside of the lines to get there from time to time. So I don't know. We'll see. I think maybe the Tom Brady winning a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay will absolve him. But also Belichick won 2 championships in New York, so you never know. We'll see. Kind of crazy. Did you watch the Pro Bowl this week?
The flag football game? So
yeah.
I watched most of it, the flag football stuff. And then I was trying to figure out, because I couldn't find where like they do the dodgeball game and like all the other fun stuff, because my son was asking me about it. I couldn't figure out where to go to watch it. I don't know when they aired that or how they aired that. Like, did they do away with that? I don't know. because that was like the
I
whole
didn't see
reason we
anything of either.
watched, is because like they do these fun little games, and then they do kind of like these player bios, and then you can kind of get to know them. That's the way they've set it up in the past, and I did not see that at all this year.
Me either. No, I mean, speaking of another joke, I mean, the Pro Bowl was insanity. Where I don't remember the final score, but it was like 60 something to 50
Yeah, it was
something, and it's a
ridiculous.
flag football game. I'm like, can you imagine if the MLB All-Star game was all the best players in Major League Baseball playing kickball? Like, what are we doing? You know, it doesn't make any sense. Why? I mean, I get it. Like, football is so different and it's so unique because you can't just have these guys coming out there and hitting people. Except for, I always think of this. You ever see the highlight of Sean Taylor? Yes. Dude, I went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I was, oh, hell yeah. Football guy move. I was watching the flag football game, and I started thinking of Sean Taylor must be rolling in his grave right now. Like, what the hell is this, dude? And then I start watching highlights of him just laying guys out in the Pro Bowl. It's so sick, dude. So, yeah, I don't know. It was fun. It was kind of entertaining, but I'm with you. Like, I like seeing the personalities and whatnot. Micah Parsons scooting around on his little hover around.
Yeah, a little
That was pretty
camel
funny.
Pants going. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Every time NFC scored, he's out on there like rushing the field and stuff in his hover around. That was pretty funny. So yeah. So we're getting through
That's
the
what I'm saying,
theatrics.
dude. You don't call it it's not a Pro Bowl game.
Yeah,
Just call it the NFL games and just do fun stuff. That's fine, but don't call it a Pro Bowl.
I totally agree, man. It's totally different. I mean, yeah, like Sid and I were talking about this. Like the NBA, like they don't play defense in the All-Star game, but it's still a basketball game, you know. And then they have the slam dunk contest on top of that. Same thing with the MLB. Like actually, the MLB they play pretty aggressively in the All-Star game.
Does a pretty good job, yeah.
They do a good job, and they have the home run derby on top of that. So you've got like during the All-Star break, the MLB and the NBA, that's like one thing that they just do so much better than the NFL. Unfortunately, I'd like to see the NFL figure something new out, like you're talking about. So we'll see if they make any changes. I don't know. Can't imagine ratings were pretty good. But going around the league, other stuff that's going on. Let me see here. We got our future number 1 overall pick going to the Raiders. It looks like. What do you think about Mendoza as a draft prospect?
I think by default, maybe.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's solid. Like he'll probably be good. I don't think he's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. But then I saw like one analyst had him like the second or like the highest grade coming out of the draft since Andrew Luck. I was like, how is that? Yeah. I don't understand that. So I don't know. Like I think there's still a lot up in the air. I think it was kind of a more of a watered down offense that he played at Indiana. So we can see like how well he can transition to the NFL. And a lot of it probably won't be on him. It'll be on the coaching staff, who they surround him with, and how they support him.
Yeah.
Franchises tend to fail these quarterbacks, these young quarterbacks, more than the young quarterbacks fail the franchise. So I'm rooting for him. That'd be cool to see. I think he's a kind of a weirdo, but great dude. Like character wise, I don't think you have anything to worry about. But yeah, I don't know. Like if I was the first pick going to the Raiders, I'd be a little hesitant.
Dude, I mean, I just can't stop thinking about how bad Geno Smith looked this year. I mean, he might have been the worst quarterback in the entire NFL this year. He looked horrific. But at the same time, think about Geno Smith last year with Seattle. Like, he looked somewhat decent. Like, there's a reason why the Raiders wanted him and why Pete Carroll wanted to bring him in. Like, he had faith in him. And I brought up that statistic about Genty a couple weeks ago where it was something insane. I should look up and know this stat, but it was something like the majority, like over 1,000 of Ashton Genty's 1,300 rushing yards came after contact. Like their offensive line is terrible. And Mendoza, is definitely a smarter quarterback than Geno Smith, I would say. Like, that's an upgrade from a football IQ standpoint, and he's more mobile for sure, and he's just a little tougher and younger and fresh. I just don't know, man. I don't know, throwing a quarterback, especially one like that who's kind of a system quarterback, into that Raiders mess. It's not gonna. If they're going to change that organization, it's not going to happen next year, and it's not going to be, flip of a switch with getting Mendoza in there. I think they'll be a lot like the Titans this year, or a team like that, or the Giants this year, with a decent quarterback, some pieces to build around, but just an absolute dog shit football team overall, unfortunately. So yeah, Mendoza declares. I agree with you. I'm like, seems like a number one overall pick by default. It's like, if Stetson Bennett was in this draft, would he be like a top 5, draft pick? Like, that's kind of how it feels, right?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe, yeah. Again, by default.
By default.
Stetson Bennett.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
think Mendoza definitely got more physical ability than Stetson Bennett did.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so. We'll see. I could be dead wrong, but not very excited about the draft this year. But okay, a couple things that we got to clean up going around the league. So something we totally missed in last week's episode is, speaking of dumpster fires, it's what's going on in Buffalo right now. So basically the story is the owner of the Buffalo Bills, they fired Sean McDermott, and the Bills owner came out and he said verbatim, and I didn't realize this until recently. I think I just read this like this week, that he didn't have any intention to fire Sean McDermott until he saw the mood and the vibe in the locker room after their loss to the Broncos. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
It was.
Did he expect those guys to be happy?
Dude, I could not believe hearing this. So basically, he says he didn't even plan on firing Sean McDermott. He goes in the locker room and he sees the mood and he hears the people talking and he looks at the body language. And in that moment, that was the moment he decided to fire Sean McDermott. Is that the definition of an impulse decision? Like, I wasn't planning on it. That was not a part of the game plan, but I had something that was emotionally triggering for me, so I made a decision in the moment. Like, what are you doing? And then, to make matters worse, then they have that awful, that press conference that I think we're going to be talking about for years, about Keon Coleman and throwing the GM under the bus, and then the GM gets a promotion, and then
he did not throw the GM under the bus. He threw Sean McDermott under the bus.
That's what I meant. Yeah, the GM, steps on Sean McDermott's head to get himself a promotion, and then they hire Joe Brady as their head coach. And this is the thing that's so funny, Fish, is I keep reading all of these, like, this Joe Brady propaganda. Like, this is how well the offense was performing under Joe Brady, and this is all the stuff the Bills done. Don't those stats apply to Sean McDermott too? Like, what are we talking about? Like, how can you say that this coaching staff was the reason why the Bills have struggled in the playoffs, and then you promote someone within the coaching staff and give them, and cherry pick all these statistics to justify it? What is going on with the Buffalo Bills? They went from probably the most desirable job opportunity to an absolute shit show with just a couple of quick decisions.
Right. So how are you going to throw Sean McDermott under the bus for the Keon Coleman draft when first of all, Sean McDermott's the defensive guy?
Yeah.
So he probably didn't have a whole ton of, like, not a whole ton, but not a whole ton of, like, insight or whatever. It was probably mostly Joe Brady who was like, we need to get this Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
But you're going to use that as a scapegoat to fire Sean McDermott and then hire the guy who probably wanted to draft Keon Coleman more than Sean McDermott wanted to, and you made a whole big scene about it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it at all. I'm happy for Joe Brady. I've liked Joe Brady since the 2018 LSU Tigers with Burrow and Jefferson and Jamar Chase and all that. Joe Brady was on that staff. So that's kind of how he made his name, and I've always kind of been following him since then. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I don't know if Buffalo is going to recover from this.
I,
I don't
I
I
agree with
don't
you.
even think they sniff what they were doing under McDermott, and then
At least, yeah, at least not for a year. Not this year. I mean, there's there's got to be some sort of adjustment period that goes on with them. I just like thinking about their roster. They just don't have like besides James Cook, like that's the only good thing that what's his face Bean or whatever for the Bills their GM has done is get James Cook in there. But I mean, yeah, I don't get it. You say you fire Sean McDermott on an impulse decision based off of the mood in the locker room after the game, and then later pointed to the fact that Keon Coleman was a draft bust, and that's who McDermott wanted to draft. Who's responsible within the organization for drafting players? Because I'm pretty sure it's not the defensive-minded head coach. I'm pretty sure in that situation, the offensive coordinator and the head coach analyze their situation and try to pick out some people with skill sets that they would like. And then the GM ultimately makes that decision. Sean McDermott, man, he has just gotten hung out to dry for this. And I hope he does a Vrabel where he takes a year off, wait to see what other firings happen, and then he'll get hired right away. He's got a 98-50 record as a head coach in the NFL.
absolutely,
Yeah.
we're rooting for
So
you, Sean.
we're rooting for it. We're a pro Sean McDermott podcast. So then you've got this. These are dumpster fires going on. So we talked about the Browns last week. That's probably the biggest dumpster fire where you had, people literally declining head coaching jobs or head coaching opportunities. And then the Bills are another dumpster fire. And then the Jets. Have you followed what's going on with Aaron Glenn firing like his entire coaching staff?
I have not, but I would get the sense that he is in
Dude.
full panic mode and he's just grasping at any straw to try to keep his job.
That's another dumpster fire, man. Like the Jets, I looked at this list. I should have had this pulled up, but for the sake of time, I'll spare you guys. But he has fired everybody, offensive, defensive coordinators, O-line coach, quarterbacks coach. Like he has fired everybody. And he waited until after the coaching cycle, like after the peak, like after everybody had already hired people, all the good candidates were gone. That's when he fired. I want to say he fired his offensive coordinator like 23 days after the playoffs started or something like that. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, shouldn't that be a day one decision? So the Jets are a complete dumpster fire. And then the other team in
they
New
just
York.
hired that Frank Reich as their offensive coordinator.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
that
so they hired
Frank Reich might be the offensive head, or might be the head coach in waiting there. And if I'm Frank Reich, I'm like, okay, Aaron, make your move.
keep doing what you're doing, baby. Dude, I'm gonna look on like the sports book and see if you could predict the next head coach of the New York Jets. I like the odds. I like the odds for Frank Reich to finish the season over Aaron Glenn. That's a great prediction right there, dude. That's so good. So yeah, so you find yourself in a situation in New York where Frank Reich is the head coach of the New York Jets, and then Matt Nagy is the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. What is going on in New York, man? Like, I liked the Harbaugh hire. I think Harbaugh is going to provide some necessary stability, but Matt Nagy basically, collapsed the Chiefs dynasty. What's he going to do in New York?
That's what I was just gonna say. I'm like, well, what's Matt Nagy's track record? Okay, most recently he was at Kansas City, where that offense was an absolute talk about a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
That the Chiefs' offense that's what they were known for, and he just completely destroyed that. Prior to then, he got a head coach job for the Chicago Bears. How'd he do there? I don't know his exact record, but he did terrible.
Yeah, he took Mitch Trubisky to the NFC Championship, but that was all on the back of their defense. And he's an offensive-minded coach.
Yeah.
The Bears got there.
The NFC, they made the NFC Championship?
Yeah, they went to the NFC Championship with Mitch Trubisky. But he had like 1 year. I think he was 14-3 or 13-4, something like that. And then he was very mediocre and ended up getting fired after that.
I don't understand the hype around him. To
Well,
me,
there is no hype.
just
There
looking
is
at him.
none. he's a dork, that's for sure. And dude, like, this is the thing that nobody was talking about, because I was horrified. I was absolutely petrified because the Titans, their two finalists for the head coaching role were Robert Saleh, who thank God they hired, and Matt Nagy. And I'm like, Matt Nagy's not interviewing it for any other head coaching positions anywhere else in the league. And the Chiefs came in and they rehired Eric Bieniemy kind of under the radar. People don't really talk about that. The Chiefs moved on from Matt Nagy. He did the Chiefs PR team, you know, they were saying it's because he's going to get a head coaching job somewhere. He did a lateral move. If anything, it was a downgrade. You know, he got demoted from the Chiefs offensive coordinator to the Giants OC. So I don't have any hope or any optimism for those two hires, Frank Reich or Matt Nagy in New York, unfortunately. But that being said, we did have some changes in an organization this week that I thought made sense, at least in my opinion. How do you feel about the Vikings parting ways with their GM?
I love it. I love it. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah was absolutely he's a probably genius in the normal world. But in the football world, he was trying to be the smartest guy in the room without taking a whole ton of input from the actual football guys in the room. Right.
Yeah.
And it started off his very first draft. He traded back, and I get upset even talking about it, but I knew it that night, and I text a few of my buddies like, this is the absolute wrong move. This was 2022, I believe. He traded back to draft Lewis Seen, a safety from Georgia. I'm not
Never heard that
surprised
name.
I'm not surprised you haven't heard of that name. The position he traded back from, Kyle Hamilton, was still available.
Yikes.
At that point in time, 3 or 4 years ago, I knew this guy has no idea what he's doing. And when he traded back, he didn't even get all that much in return. He just traded back because he thought, okay, I can draft Lewis Seen at a better draft position or whatever, more cap money or whatever the deal is. Again, he's just trying to outsmart people. So that was his first strike. And then the second and third strike were the J.J. McCarthy deals, to where he had it in his ear from KOC last year when Sam Darnold had the great year for us. KOC goes to Kwesi and says, hey, we need to get Sam or at least Daniel Jones on the roster for next year because J.J. McCarthy just isn't ready yet. And that's not J.J. McCarthy's fault. He was hurt. He got hurt right away, and he just hadn't had that time to develop. But Kwesi didn't get the deals done. And so J.J. was his draft pick. If you go and look back at Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah's overall draft pick, absolutely horrendous.
Horrible. Yeah.
And so J.J. McCarthy was like, he's getting all his eggs in this one single basket. And then that turns out to be a flop. And I think that was just the final straw that broke the monkey's back. But also, it's like, I don't think he wasn't doing enough to try to get a deal done this off season. Well, it's not really but it is the off season for the Vikings because we didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
To work on a deal to try to get Herbert or Burrow. So I think without Kwesi, they hired this guy they just hired this guy today. He's Matt Thomas. He was in Seattle's front office for about 11 years. He's going to help us through the draft process, which is fine. I don't know a whole ton about him, but Seattle during those 11 years was fairly decent at drafting. So we'll take all the help we can get at this point. But I do think we go aggressively at a deal for either Herbert or Burrow in this offseason. Now that
Interesting.
Kwesi's out of the
So
way.
you think that the missing piece in Minnesota is the quarterback position?
Right now, yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Because I'm still kind of a JJ McCarthy believer. I know that's weird to say, and he had like some of the most cringy moments in the NFL this year. Didn't look great. At times, he looked like he looked really bad. He had a couple games where he looked really, really bad. But he's inexperienced and he was hurt, like you said, so he never played fully healthy or anything like that. But I still see the potential in JJ McCarthy and would love that. But I also said the same thing about Will Levis entering his second year. So that's interesting because yeah, like the thing that I think about just from a non-Vikings and unbiased third-party perspective, I'm like, how do you have literally the best player in the NFL on your team and you can't work an offense around him? Like the Justin Jefferson's stat line this year is it would be good for a lot of wide receivers in the NFL, and it's an absolute embarrassment for Justin Jefferson. Like it's crazy, man. So maybe you're right. If you could get Burrow back there, back with his boy with JJ and Jed as they start bringing back the 2019 LSU days. I mean, my goodness, that would be with Kevin O'Connell. That's the thing. You have one of, if not the best. Like this time last year, we were saying Kevin O'Connell was the best offensive mind in the NFL. Like obviously that's different. Players evolve and people get figured out. But this time last year, everybody was saying KOC is the future of the offensive. His system is the future of the NFL offense. So yeah, you got the best player in the NFL and one of the best offensive-minded coaches in the NFL. I think it makes perfect sense that you fire the GM due to their lack of production and lack of results.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just can't make mistakes like that. Like it reminds me of when John Robinson, the former GM of the Titans. I mean, he signed his own death certificate when he traded away AJ Brown. That's kind of what the Sam Darnold, getting rid of Sam Darnold was kind of what it feels like happened in Minnesota as well, or that's the equivalent. So I like seeing that. I was excited for you because that draft history is absolutely abysmal.
Oh, it's terrible.
So we'll see. Where do the Vikings draft this year? Where are they at? Do you know what number they have?
18. But going back to like JJ McCarthy, like I wanted to believe in him going into this year, and there just hasn't. I've watched most of the snaps. I didn't see all of the snaps, but I watched most of the snaps, a vast majority, and they're just not even flashes of decency. You know what I mean? Like with Caleb Williams, like granted last year he wasn't that great, but there was like glimpses. Oh, he's like, oh, I could see that. Oh, I could see, him turning out to be fairly decent or whatever the case may be. And Jaden Daniels, Drake May, all of which were drafted in the same draft. Bo Nix. You see those they have glimpses of where they show you, okay, yeah, they can be a franchise quarterback. JJ McCarthy just has not had that, period. And that's not like I'm not trying to hate on him. It's just like you haven't done anything, dude, and we need you to. And you got the keys to a Ferrari.
Yeah, literally. You gonna stick with? Are they sticking with Aaron Jones at running back this year?
Yes, I believe he's here for another year.
Got it.
Aaron Jones, and then we got Jordan Mason as well. Yep.
Oh yeah, Jordan Mason. Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm optimistic. I'm very excited to see what pieces the new Vikings GM, because that feels like a team that they've got all of the pieces. Just like you said, whoever the quarterback is there, they're getting handed the keys to the Ferrari. They feel like they could be an overnight Super Bowl contender if they just fix and tweak a few things. So I'm excited to see that. So yeah, man, this is the last week that we have to talk about active football. There will be no more football until preseason next year, or no NFL football until August, basically. And so I'm feeling really grateful and reflecting on an awesome NFL season. Bouncing around the sports world a little bit though, changing gears. We just had the NBA trade deadline. Trade deadline was today. As we're recording this is Thursday night. You'll probably end up listening to this on Friday. Whoever's listening to this right now. Pretty active NBA trade deadline. I mean, I here's the thing. I've got a little mini rant about the NBA where my number one favorite sport for a long time actually was the NBA. I followed the NBA religiously. I played NBA 2K. I'm a Grizzlies fan too. So this was during the grit and grind era where we had Mike Conley, Tony Allen, Rudy Gay, Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol. Like, dude, I was obsessed with that team. Still have jerseys in my closet. I remember tearing up when Marc Gasol won Defensive Player of the Year because he was my favorite player at the time. And dude, like, I used to bleed the NBA. And the NBA went from something that was so exciting and competitive, and you're watching these, like, I have always said that I think the NBA has the most like freak superhuman athletes of any major sport. Like, the fact that these guys are so big and they're so tall and they move the way that they move is incredible. Like, it's the margin is really slim because you see guys, in the NFL like an Ashton Genty or Justin Jefferson. Like, there's freak athletes all over the place, but I mean, you think about how like Steph Curry looks short on an NBA court and he would be tall in the NFL. Like, he'd look like Julio Jones out there. Like, it kind of blows my mind a little bit. Or like Calvin Johnson would look short on an NBA course. I could do 1,000 examples like that. So the NBA, like, it went from this insane, competitive, really exciting product to, I would say right now, the most unwatchable sport across the board. I mean, you have players complaining and fighting with refs every single possession. It feels like if it doesn't go their way, that every single call that a ref makes, whether it's a penalty or out of bounds or whatever, it's going to benefit and negatively affect somebody. You can't have it where every single time it negatively affects you, you're bartering. In fact, I proposed, this might be early on when I first started the podcast, I think that they should make that a penalty. They should make it some sort of, or a foul rather. I called it a penalty. I'm still thinking football. They should make it a foul. I even had a good name for it where, like, if you go and you try to convince the ref or sway the ref, as soon as you start doing that and pleading your case, like, I can picture Luka Doncic and Draymond Green and like every big name in the NBA doing this. It should be it should be a foul, dude, and it should count as a personal foul, and it's like the most unwatchable sport ever. So that's my opinion right now. So like in my opinion, the NBA trade deadline, like, you had some big moves. You got Anthony Davis got shipped out. The Grizzlies got rid of Jaren Jackson Jr., which I was pretty sad about that. He's a solid young player and a good piece. At the same time, we got 3 first-round draft picks for him. Like, we got a grip of players and 3 first-round draft picks. Memphis now has the most draft picks. Like, that's insane. Like, who's an NFL player that you get 3 first-round draft picks for? Like, even Micah Parsons went for 2, didn't he? Sauce Gardner went for 2. That's freaking nuts. But so there's my whole point is tying this up. There's so many big storylines. James Harden just got traded again. And I just don't care. Like, I don't care. It's still a super team league, and the Thunder are going to win it again. They're absolutely unstoppable. Giannis didn't go anywhere. Ja Morant didn't go anywhere. And the pace of play somehow now in the NBA is slower than Major League Baseball even. So that's my rant about the NBA.
I love it, dude. I love it. And you set it up like so perfectly where you said, I don't care. I was having a conversation with a guy at work just like last week about if these players don't care half the time, then why should I?
Yeah.
It's just the lack of effort is just astonishing. You mentioned that, like, these guys are just crazy super athletes, and then you watch a game and they're just like they're just going through the motions. Like, as a fan base,
Dude.
because I'm Timberwolves, so I watch the Timberwolves games all the time, and it's just like you see them and they beat the Thunder, and then they go and lose to, no offense, but they lose to Memphis.
Yeah.
Like what in back-to-back games, like 2 days apart. What do you like?
Yeah.
You got up to play that Thunder game, and then you just don't show up for the Memphis game. But as a fan,
Yeah.
you're supposed to sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, I need to show up 100% every single game." No, absolutely not. If the players aren't
Dude,
going to care, why should I?
do we have the problem in any other major sport with players being too fat to play the game? Like the NBA, I can think of James Harden, Zion Williamson, and Luka Doncic all had issues with their teams publicly that they were too fat to play the game. You don't have that in the NFL. I'm sorry. You don't have that in college football, hardly. Like
Oh, Eddie Lacy.
you yeah. But even in those sports, like you could justify it, like having a big body makes sense. In the NBA, you got to be lean and mean. You got to be fit. You got to be in really good shape. Luka Doncic, you're the best player probably in the NBA, or one, top 3, and you're overweight. You're drinking beer on. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? Zion Williamson, you're supposed to be the next LeBron James,
Dude, I
and
warned you about Zion coming out of college.
he's awful, man. And
I told you
yeah,
that.
you did. We had a conversation about it, and because that was the Grizzlies had number 2 overall that year. We got Ja, and I was happy with the way that shook out. I'm glad we got Ja Morant. Which would you rather have someone who's fat or has a gun control problem? I'll let you decide that. I love Ja Morant. I was so happy.
He's a shooter.
Shooter, shoot, baby. He belongs in Memphis. That's a fact right there. Don't tell me he doesn't belong in Memphis. So, in any event, man, yeah, I think that the NBA is the hardest watch of any major sport. I've even recently become. It's gone NFL, MLB, NHL, and NBA in that order in terms of what I enjoy watching. And I never would have thought I would say that about pro hockey. And then, the game of baseball has just gotten so much better with the incorporation of the pitch clock. So,
Yeah.
so NBA trade deadline happened. I don't give a shit. Don't care.
I was hoping the Timberwolves were going to make a big move and get Giannis, but they didn't. So I don't care anymore either.
They might. They still. I mean, they could maybe next year in the offseason or something. It feels like they're setting the stage to make a big signing in the offseason, but I don't know. We'll see. Could be interesting. Any other stories that I missed? We got to wrap this up here. We're right at time. I think next week we'll go over the state of golf. We talked about that a little bit off camera. That we need to cover that, but there's too much to unpack there. Anything other major or pressing that we missed here today, Fish?
I don't believe so. Shout out to the Phoenix Open. If you're not a golf fan, turn into the Phoenix Open. You'll love it. It's a big party.
Yes. Waste management is the one event for non-golfers to love golf. 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the best.
A huge
So
party.
yeah, maybe next week we can do a Super Bowl recap, talk about the Phoenix Open, maybe share some clips and stuff with that, because there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with Live Golf and the PGA, and this is the last week of football, so we got to talk about football. So I almost said unfortunately, but that's not unfortunate. I love talking about football. I wish that we could do it all day long every day. So all right. Well, that's all I got this week. We'll be back next week recapping the Super Bowl, like I just said, and yeah, have yourselves a great day.